Here's a new problem, very similar. Graph the line with a slope of -2 and passes through the point 1, 3. All right, so draw our grid and mark a few scale marks. Notice that I'm trying to keep them equally spaced out here. You know, it would be acceptable if, say, the horizontal spacings were different from the vertical spacings. It would be acceptable if your scale was different between the x-axis and the y-axis. But to have some of these bunched together and others spread apart, that would be very unacceptable. You need to have them equally spaced on each axis, all right, for a good quality graph. Now then, the point 1, 3 is up here, and the slope is -2. So a slope of -2 is -2 over 1. So that tells us that the ratio of rise to run is a rise of -2, which is actually a fall, isn't it? So if I drop by -2 units, -2 being the rise, going down, and right 1 unit, then that generates a second point for our graph. I can see that the line is also going to have a y-intercept of 5 up there, because if I went backwards with this, using the slope, I would go left -1 and up +2. And so if you look at these ratios, 2 over -1, left 1 is negative, up is positive. 2 over -1 is -2. Down 2, right 1, -2 over +1 is also -2. So you can actually use the slope to orient going to the right or to the left. Just be careful about that. Normally I like to think from left to right, but you can think right to left if you want to. Alright, so I can generate a third point here, and the line looks approximately like this. Let me label a few points. Okay, so that's a pretty good graph. If you like to do this sort of thing lightly, that'd be okay with me, just as an aid in graphing. Alright, can we write the equation of this line also? That we can, because the y-intercept is known. We're sure that it's 5. And so y-intercept is 5. And the slope is -2, so the equation of the line would be y equals to -2x plus 5. Now we can, I didn't mention this on the last problem, but we can check these. In this point 1, 3, if you put 1 in for x, -2 times 1 is -2, plus 5 is the y value of 3. That works. Written in this form, it has a slope of -2. So the equation fits this information, and the graph also fits the information. So it's a good graph, it's a good equation. And that's about what we can do with this. So just a little disclaimer, I know my instructions said graph the line, and then later, after I graphed the line, I did something extra. I created the equation of the line. So I will, as instructions, ask you to find the equations of the line. But in a problem like this, if it only says graph, then that's all you need to do. So